Hello everyone, Jonathan Schlack, EAS&Weather here, with a severe weather update for the day one outlook. We have a slight risk for severe weather down here that encompasses south central South Carolina, southeastern Georgia, and north central Florida. We have a marginal risk for severe weather down here that encompasses parts of southeastern South Carolina, south central Georgia, the eastern part of the Panhandle of Florida, and central Florida, and that is in association. These risks down here in the southeast U.S. are in association with Hurricane Debbie. So, going up here, we have a couple slight risk areas up here. We have one slight risk area up here that encompasses south central Minnesota, northeastern Iowa, southern Wisconsin, and north central Illinois. We have a slight over here that encompasses southeastern Michigan, northern Ohio, northern Pennsylvania, central and east central New York State, northwestern Massachusetts, most of Vermont, most of New Hampshire, and southern Maine. We have a broad marginal that encompasses southern Minnesota, northeastern Iowa, central Wisconsin, northern Illinois, southern Michigan, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, far northwestern, central, and northeastern Pennsylvania, the very far extreme northwestern tip of New Jersey, west central, north central, and southeast New York State, which is northwest of New York City and Long Island. It does not include New York City or Long Island, it's just northwest of there. The marginal today also covers northwestern Connecticut, central Massachusetts, north central Vermont, north central New Hampshire, and central Maine. Going back here, we have margin risk for severe weather today that encompasses western Montana, most of Idaho, northeastern Oregon, and the very far extreme southeastern edge of Washington State. So, going to a tornado threat now, we have a 5% chance of an isolated tornado today that encompasses south central South Carolina, southeastern Georgia, and north central Florida, and the 2% chance of an isolated tornado today that encompasses parts of southeastern South Carolina, south central Georgia, the eastern Panhandle of Florida, and central Florida, and that is again associated with Hurricane Debbie. Going up here with a 5% chance of an isolated tornado today that encompasses south central Minnesota, northeastern Iowa, northwestern Illinois, and southwestern Wisconsin. We have a 2% chance of an isolated tornado today that encompasses southern Minnesota, northeastern Iowa, northern Illinois, and south central Wisconsin. So, going to the wind threat now, we have two areas where we have a 15% chance of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher today. One that covers south central Minnesota, northeastern Iowa, southern Wisconsin, and northern Illinois. Another area where we have a 5% chance of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher today encompasses southeastern Michigan, northern Ohio, northern Pennsylvania, central and east central New York State. Don't know why just update on me. But the 15% wind risk today also encompasses northwestern Massachusetts, most of Vermont, most of New Hampshire, and southern Maine. We have a 5% chance of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher today that encompasses southern Minnesota, northeastern Iowa, central Wisconsin, northern Illinois, southern Michigan, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, far northwestern, central, and northeast Pennsylvania, far northwestern New Jersey, west central New York State, as well as north central New York State and southeastern New York State, which is northwest of New York City and Long Island. It also covers northwestern Connecticut, central Massachusetts, north central Vermont, north central New Hampshire, and central Maine. We have a 5% chance of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher today that encompasses western Massachusetts, most of Idaho, northeastern Oregon, and the very far extreme southeastern edge of Washington State. So, now going to the hail threat, we have two areas where we have a 15% chance of hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger today. One that covers southeastern Minnesota, northeastern Iowa, northern Illinois, and southern Wisconsin. Another area where we have a 15% chance of hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger today encompasses northeastern Pennsylvania, central and east central New York State, northwestern Massachusetts, southern half of Vermont, central and southern New Hampshire, and southern Maine. And we have a 5% chance of hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger today. That encompasses southern Minnesota, northeastern Iowa, central Wisconsin, northern Illinois, southern Michigan, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, northern Pennsylvania, most of New York State, the very far extreme northwestern tip of New Jersey, northwestern Connecticut, central Massachusetts, northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and central Maine. So, going to the summary for today, severe thunderstorms are possible today and tonight from the upper Ohio Valley to New England, across portions of the upper Midwest and from northern Florida into southern Georgia and southeast South Carolina. So, that is the Day 1 Outlook. I'm going to have a separate video on the Day 2 Outlook, which will come out very soon, so stay tuned for the Day 2 Outlook, which will come out very soon.